That
kids are
makes
so
sense.
free with their mouths. So,
Yeah.
you might even have white kids saying, you know, nigger and stuff like
Right.
that. And that's the thing too with us as black people. I don't agree with us using that word.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're doing it, and we're doing it in front of other nationalities and things like that, and then they feel comfortable to come out and say it too. I don't know how you guys feel about that, like when you hear other black people saying, oh, nigga, nigga, excuse my language, but saying that,
No,
it I
that's
just
that's that's a dope one. We're gonna dip into that one, but that's not yet because that's a whole nother thing. But I do like that direction.
no, but
Um,
I only
I feel you.
went there because you said, has it ever affected
Sure.
you? So,
No, it makes
I don't
perfect sense.
really. Yeah.
That makes perfect sense. What do you think, Zell? Like,
I'm gonna keep it brief. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it brief. So knowledge is power. We do have to educate the kids. I don't think that we should gloss over it. I don't
mhm,
think that not knowing it would help them. I think by knowing it, it would help them understand that racism does still exist today
mhm.
and why understanding what slavery was affects where we are today.
Sure.
Even somebody not even knowing the history of slavery. I met a guy that he said he grew up in Italy. When he moved to America, he said he felt that he was black first and a man second. But in Italy, he's a man first and black
Hmm.
second.
Mm.
Right.
So this
Right.
country, and this, we had this conversation a couple of years ago at a GNC, right?
Hmm.
So even today, the history of slavery and why this country is so rich off the backs of free labor, like
Yeah.
understanding it, knowledge is power. So
Yeah.
I think we definitely need to educate the kids, but these kids nowadays, they don't have the attention span that we had. So if it's
Right.
not in a short, they probably not going to want to watch it. They're like, you got to give it to me
How,
quick.
how do you put 400 years in the short? You better talk fast.
You got to go fast. But yeah, that's just, but again, you can't use it as an excuse. So
Yeah.
I never condone using the atrocities that have happened to our people as an excuse. We still must move forward, push forward, make whatever strides we can in our lifetime to hopefully make it
Hmm.
better for the next generation and the next
The next
generation.
generation.
Because again,
Yeah.
it was an institution for 400 years.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
you don't just flip the switch and be like, oh, it's over. Now everything is as it should be. America is an experiment. They are
Yes.
experimenting
Yes.
with all of
100%.
us, right? And the experiment
100%.
is not done. These other countries
Right.
have been around, they've existed way longer than the United States of America. We're here, we're a part of an experiment. They get it wrong sometimes, they get some
Yeah.
things right. And our hope is that what we do in our lifetime helps to push forward our culture, our race, our people, America as a whole, to make it better than it was
Yeah.
yesterday. But
Yeah.
I'll stop
Well,
there.
I was gonna say something.
no, go ahead. Go ahead, Bonnie.
He said, to make what? To make America what?
To make America better.
And make America
You
great
want me to say
again.
make America great again? Is that what you? I can't say great again because for our people it was never great like that. So I can't say
No, I just
make
made a
America
joke
great
out
again. I'll say
She
make it
trying to.
better.
She's trying to lead you into the MAGA
of.
cult.
No,
Mm.
No, I
not.
just.
I'm gonna give
You
her
say make
the Kembe
America great
Mutombo.
again?
Not today.
Not
I
that.
was thinking, did Sean know what I'm thinking right now? Did you know what I was about to say? That's why I was
I
laughing.
knew exactly where you were going. That's why I was laughing. I said, I know where she's about to go with it. That was kind of slick. Now,
Yeah,
what do
yeah.
y'all?
What you thinking?
I was comparing, just wasn't comparing, but I brought up the Jewish people in the Holocaust,
Mm-hmm.
and I was saying that they use that narrative to to click together really hard. Zell
Yes.
made a great point because obviously slavery was way longer,
Right.
than the Holocaust. But I feel like at times we did use slavery to tighten up together, and then at some point we've gotten off of that, and now I feel like the whole narrative of slavery has gotten so blown all over the place that even some black people don't want to talk about it. They don't want to deal with it. It's just whatever the case is. So I think that I'm wondering, is there a way in the future where we can start to, if we're going to use slavery, or not use it, but if we're going to talk about it amongst us, I'm talking about amongst black people, can we eventually use it to find a way to have some type of narrative of togetherness and a focus? And I know it's difficult, and I understand that, but I think that that's the whole crux of the conversation for me. Is like,
Well,
you have some black people that just don't even want to deal with it. They don't even want to talk about it.
Troy,
Because of
I
that.
I feel like, I mean, obviously the Holocaust was just a horrible atrocity that no human being should ever have to endure. But one of the main differences of many was that the Holocaust was meant to house and kill all these people. That's what they were
Right.
trying to do.
Right.
They and then once and then of course they were using them for experiments and different things like that. But in the end, they just wanted to exterminate them all.
Mm-hmm.
With us, the plan was different. Like they were trying the ones that they couldn't use, they killed, got rid of those who didn't conform, whatever. But they wanted to keep us around as workhorses for as long as possible. They were using us
Right.
to raise their children, to cook their food, to wash their clothes, to do
Right.
all these things. And in order to keep us in line, they had to plant all these psychological seeds that ended up sprouting and just rippling and growing on from generation to generation to generation. Because they planted these seeds, and then we took it and started planting those seeds in descendant after descendant, generation after generation after generation. And so it's become so difficult to find that togetherness because they planted the seeds of division, and
Right.
centuries of division amongst ourselves has been very difficult to overcome because it's almost ingrained in us how we are so divisive with one another
Right.
and so competitive and so crabs in a bucket with one another. And so in order for us to even use slavery as a coming together kind of a piece, I think that we are going to have to try to overcome some of those psychological seeds that were planted first.
Well, that's go ahead. That I'm glad you said that. That makes me think. I don't mean to cut you off. Please
Well,
go
no,
ahead.
I was just saying. I feel like, well, even if it's not first, but at least at the same time, we're gonna have to try to overcome some of those long, deeply held, ingrained patterns of thinking that have led to our downfall or keeping us stagnant for centuries. And that, I think, is probably one of our greatest problems, is that division and that hatefulness which comes from those seeds planting of hating ourselves. I mean, it goes so
Right.
deep, and the branches branch out to so many different things. From hating your skin color to your hair to your food to your name to all of these things. And
Mm-hmm.
so there's just a lot of work to be done that we have to
Yeah.
start doing before we can really expect even a talk of slavery to be a coming together piece. I mean, you could find a group of people who could talk about slavery and agree and have some camaraderie, but the deeper issues within the black community still exist. And we've
Right.
got to address those things before we can even expect slavery to be a sticking point or glue
Yeah.
point for us. You know?
Well, do you feel like I think we should always deal with it and talk about it. So I'm not one of
Yeah.
those people because I don't think it's healthy when people be like, oh, especially it's usually sometimes you hear black people say this, but usually it's non-black people to be like, it was a long time ago, get over it. And that's
I feel
that's
like
never healthy. That's
I
that
f-
never it's never a good thing to say get over it. But when I speak about this, I speak about amongst us to say that, you know, is there a way for us to say I won't say is there a way for us to be healed, right? Because there's always things like you said generationally that go on, and there's obviously things that happen through lineage. It just is what it is. Certain things, trauma is even, they say, is even passed through DNA, right? So
Mm-hmm.
there are certain things there, but I guess, now I'm like, okay, if we look at our kids and we say, okay, how do we want them to process